Hey guys, I'm Erik Voss, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 featured a new promo spot during the Super Bowl with a ton of new footage. And it's all mixed in with stuff that we've seen in past trailers, which I've already broken down into other videos. But let's take a look at all the new stuff and talk about everything that we've learned about the story. Possible spoilers ahead? Here we go.
Just who in the hell do you think you are?
Well...
Cool, a lot of stuff here, but let's start with this rare purple backdrop behind the Marvel logo. It looks like this movie is doubling down on the Guardians having the most colorful palette of the MCU. Honestly, while James Gunn seems to be saving the major plot stuff and Easter eggs for the movie,
well,
he gets that by showing us an exciting, funny, color-packed trailer that actually looks and feels like a comic book is really all we need. That said, this shade of purple may be connected to the purple Infinity Stone in the Guardians movies, the Power Stone, which we saw in the first one, or it could just be a coincidence. And speaking of bright color, we get these new shots of Ayesha and the Sovereign, all covered in gold. The Sovereign are a superior, arrogant race of beings that have hired the Guardians to take down this interdimensional monster that's feeding on their power source. But it sounds like Ayesha will be one of the villains in this movie, so I'm guessing that the Guardians are gonna screw her over somehow and she's gonna want revenge. Now, I've mentioned this before, but in the comics, Ayesha is another name for Kismet, who is a genetically perfect super being designed by a group of scientists called the Enclave to be a female counterpart to Adam Warlock. But I'm not sure if that backstory is coming into this movie. We also see this quick shot of Drax sticking this superhero landing in a location that we've seen in past trailers. But if you look closely at the background, they've added some coral-colored organic matter, and I'll talk about that more a bit later. Also, we know that Yondu is joining the Guardians in this movie, and we see him and Quill piloting this ship. Now, the editing makes it look like it's the Milano in this space battle sequence, but Quill's clothes are different here, and the cockpit looks totally different. So I'm thinking this is a Ravager ship, maybe a new one called the Quadrant that's rumored to be in this movie. Let's move on. Okay, in case you were wondering, the music throughout this whole trailer is a version of Fleetwood Mac's The Chain. It's from their classic album Rumors, recorded while the bandmates' marriages with each other were falling apart. And the lyrics are all about keeping a relationship together even though you may hate each other. And that could be hinting at the embattled sister relationship between Gamorra and Nebula, also people like Yondu and Rocket, who don't really feel comfortable as part of the Guardians team. Or it could be reflecting Quill's relationship with his father, Ego the Living Planet, a super being that takes the form of a whole planet, but also created a human form played by Kurt Russell. And I think this trailer actually gives us our first look at Ego's planetary form. Quill and Rocket are jumping out towards something that looks similar to the background behind Drax earlier. Now, what is this thing? I speculated before that this whole location could be the core of Ego, and this organic looking object looks like kind of a giant organ, like a brain or a heart, with nerve strands or maybe veins attached to it. So we'll see if this theory ends up being right, but I'm feeling better and better about it with each new trailer that comes out. Also, I love this massive gun that Gamorra uses here. It seems like one of Rocket's guns, and I just can't see how this thing is even practical. Like, I feel like the most damage it's gonna do is to your own shoulders and lower back. Now, this shot of Yondu and Rocket has been updated with new CGI since the earlier trailer. Like, we can see Baby Groot on his shoulder now, and his Yaka arrow whizzing through all these Ravagers, ending with him catching it just like he did in the first movie. But if you look closely at Yondu's mohawk fin has been enhanced, and I think this whole sequence with these three is going to be the best part of the movie. Like, James Gunn seems super proud of it based on how much of it we're seeing in these trailers. Now, before we were wondering why Yondu is parting ways with the Ravagers, and it seems like they're going to mutiny against him. Remember that shot at the end of the first film when Yondu realizes Quill trolled him by swapping out the Power Stone? Yondu smiles. He still has a bit of a soft spot for Quill, but that also seems like the kind of thing that would piss off all the other Ravagers. So in this movie, I think they're going to turn on him for going soft. Let's move on.
He's so cute.
What's that?
He says, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, cool, let's get into this section. This trailer shows us more of the new members of the team, Mantis and Nebula. Mantis comes into the story with Ego, and according to James Gunn, she's had limited contact with other beings, giving her this childlike sense of wonder.
He's so cute.
Now, this is the first we've seen of Nebula since the first teaser, and if you re-look at that shot, she appeared to be a prisoner in a location that looks very similar to where we saw the Sovereign. So I'm thinking implying that she's going to join the Guardians very early in the movie, like she's part of their deal to defeat the Obelisk monster. But I'm guessing things don't go exactly as planned because we're gonna see some more conflict between these sisters. You can see Gamorra briefly in the frame during this close-up fight, and Nebula appears to be the one gunning down Gamorra in the shot that we saw in the last trailer. Now, I enjoyed this welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy moment.
He says, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
But as Rocket says in the next part,
Only he didn't use frickin'.
I don't think it's gonna be frickin' in the movie either. Like, that would be a super easy audio swap. But I get it, you can't swear during the Super Bowl. Kids, don't read Bill Belichick's lips. Okay, let's look at this final section.
Only he didn't use frickin'.
Look out!
Oh, wow. I tried, guys.
Okay, so in this section, we see the other villain in this movie, Taserface. He's one of Yondu's Ravagers who leads the mutiny against him. Now, I know Ayesha and Taserface chasing down the Guardians doesn't seem like super high stakes, but that's what James Gunn wanted with this movie. His goal was for it to be smaller and more self-contained and more focused on the characters without the whole universe being threatened like in the first Guardians and so many other MCU movies. So, all the stuff with the Infinity Stones and Thanos won't be in this movie. It sounds like Marvel is saving a lot of that stuff for the Infinity War movies, which if they're really gonna include all of these characters, plus everyone from Civil War and all the other MCU films, Infinity War is going to be insanely massive. The whole second movie is probably just gonna be a 2-hour version of that long take in the Avengers, with the camera gliding across like 40 superheroes as they each do their own cool move. Like, I feel like that's all they're gonna have time for. Now, I like Baby Groot's sassy little head shake here to confirm that he didn't say frickin'.
Only he didn't use frickin'.
Now, I have a feeling that this was composed purely for the trailer and promotional footage. Like, maybe we won't see this in the actual movie. Like, I love this gag of Mantis getting wiped out by flaming debris. It's probably the funniest part of any of the trailers, but this just doesn't seem like something that would happen in the movie, right? Like, that rock probably would have killed Mantis, or at least really hurt her. And everyone just kind of shrugs it off like,
Look out!
Oh, wow.
oh my God, you killed Mantis!
You bastards!
Now, I could be wrong, but I think it's more in character for James Gunn to shoot a joke just for promotional stuff than to actually make it part of the film. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, that's everything. Let me know what you thought about this Super Bowl spot in the comments. Hopefully we'll get another trailer that gives us more info about Kurt Russell's version of Ego, but until then, make sure to check out my last 2 breakdowns of trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to New Rockstars, and if you really like us, you can contribute to us on Patreon. Big thanks to all of our current patrons, especially Kelly Hopper. You can hit me up on Twitter at EA Voss with any thoughts or theories you have about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, or follow New Rockstars on Twitter at New Rockstars for info for when our videos are coming out. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.